Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander, Director of Sales for Bona Adhesives.
And I'm Rob Johnson from the Bona Training. Sounds like you forgot for a second there.
I
There
stuttered
was a
there.
little hesitation.
A
Yeah.
little stutter, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay, Rob,
Wayne,
let's talk about it.
before we get going,
Okay.
that was some election, don't you think?
Yeah.
That was some election.
Yeah. Again.
And what was the difference maker in this election? And you and I have known this for years now. The podcast. Now, I think we got to get right out in front of this. Okay. We offered equal time to both candidates.
Yeah.
But the schedule's just Friday afternoons is when we usually do our shows, and both candidates were usually had something going Friday night. So it was tough to get them.
Well, I didn't check my messages, and one of them had left a message that they would do the show, and I didn't even see the message. So
that's too bad, because that would have been interesting. I wonder if it would change anything.
I'm sure it would have.
But we've known this now for close to 6 years. It's the podcast. That's where the news is. That's where people are getting their information now. But
it's
I
amazing.
think you and I invented the podcast.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I wonder what you're going to say when we're like 75 years old and done, sitting at the bar with my used shirt. Oh, podcast. Oh, we started, but we invented the podcast.
Podcasting. There wasn't a podcast out there.
Well, the young kids most of their news is coming from streaming and podcasts, not conventional style news like with old people, you with New Balance tennis shoes and
like I said, you and I jumped on that wagon years and years ago. We knew this a long time ago.
I think the way we jumped on it was Eileen said, "Hey, you guys should do a podcast." So we didn't know nothing.
One of my favorite things is sitting around with Pauline at, having coffee or supper or something. And she will say something like, whatever. She'll mention podcasts or something. And my favorite thing is to look at her and go, look, here's what you don't get. You're not in the entertainment business. I am.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know that's what you guys think, but
yeah, civilians.
Yes. I said, Wayne and I are in the entertainment business. We understand what's going on. And,
absolutely.
Yeah. So we knew this podcast thing, who knew it would affect the elections, except for, you and I knew.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe, for you guys, you elected officials and everything coming up, in the next 2 years, we're always available. Okay.
I want to talk to any of them.
That's all we want to do. We just want to talk to them.
Yeah.
We just want to have a conversation with them.
All right, Rob.
That's about as close as we can get to politics right now.
Yeah, as close as I want to get to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Without getting fired.
Yes, I don't care about it. All right, Rob. We've talked about this before, maybe the first year we did the podcast, but clean and I want to say recoats, but cleaning floors, just cleaning floors alone is there's been very few times in my career that I had to tell my guys to slow down, that we're not supposed to make money this fast. We're not doctors. And doing cleaning floors. And so much so that when we did that, we realized, all right, well, we got to make it's got to be like a cooking show now. We got to make this more fancy and make a big production out of it. Sometimes it's not just what you're doing, it's but how you're doing it. So, adding coasters to the mix and checking the chairs for coasters and replacing the coasters. And then You know, bringing in a fancy Bona floor care kit as we leave. And I think that this is an avenue that we don't talk about enough, I think. And this machine is such an incredible machine, what it can do. And we always talk about it. Yes, you can clean the floor. You can take a buffer and clean the floor, buffer, and you can use some kind of a like deep clean solution or whatever. But the $50 word with the power scrubber is extraction. You're not just pushing the chemicals around, you're actually extracting them off the floor. Rob, go.
This, and I know we've talked about this so many times about the power scrubber, but when Bona fires me, hopefully this is part of my severance package, because I am just watching this work.
I've already the severance package has already been figured out.
Already figured out.
Yeah,
You were there on that
yeah.
corporate stooge meeting.
Yeah,
Figured that.
we got to
What
use
side were
one.
you on? That's where I know. I want to know what side you were on. You know, I know other stooges. They'll tell me.
Yeah.
They'll tell me.
Well,
This is how to build that lifetime customer, which everybody knows that was the biggest mistake I made as a floor professional, was not paying attention to building the lifetime customer. Once a year, head back in, do the deep clean, see you next year. You do that 6, 7 times, and like you said, you can check the floor protectors, make sure they're using the right product, make sure they're using walk-off mats, make sure they're doing everything you told them. So 8, 9 years down the road, when it's time for you to go back in and do the recoat, you know that there's not going to be any contaminants on the floor. They've been doing everything to protect your floor, their floor, right? It's kind of it's both of your floors type of a deal.
On the last show,
it's so important.
Yeah, sorry, I walked on you right there.
That's all right.
On the last show, I mentioned that you might want to, ask them if it's okay to use the bathroom. I don't want to harp on this, Rob, but the reason I bring it up now is because here's the thing. I've never made any money off a poor man in my life. Okay. And back in the 80s, there used to be this, used to hear it all the time. Oh, the yuppies are buying in these new homes, and the yuppies this, like it was a derogatory, thing to say about somebody, right? But we made a lot of money off yuppies, right? But if you're a busy professional, time, I tell you, is more important than money to them. Solving a problem, coming up with a solution, is more important than money to them. They got a lot of things going on in their life. For you, for us, for me, $500 to clean something might sound like a lot of money. To them, to walk in, they got new coasters on the floor, or you clean the floor and everything, you left a cleaning kit and everything, you solved the problem, they can move on. $500 is worth every penny of it. And so we sometimes get in the habit of thinking, well, gosh, I can't charge $500 to come in and clean the floors, because I would charge $2,000 to sand and finish the floors. So that's just too much money. Anybody that has a Mercedes or whatever, or a fancy car, whatever, or $3 million house, they can afford these services. You just have to explain to them that the value in it, and if you can sell that to them, that the value in that, the extracting the contaminants off the floor, and the number one reason for floors that don't live as long as they should have, that their life of the floor didn't go as far as they should have, or they have to be sanded and finished sooner than they should have, is not improper maintenance on the floor, right? Not taking care of the floor. So I just think this is such an easy win for us. And also we don't often get easy days as flooring contractors. Even when you're coating a floor, you're going in to coat a floor. Yes, it's easy. You got a T-bar or you got a roller. And it's not hard physical work, but it's stressful work, because putting a coat of finish on the floor, we all know, You can get a hair and finish or something, whatever. I mean, you probably wouldn't, but for a lot of people, you could get a hair and a finish.
I have a lot of back hair, so
You do. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're not coding without a shirt on, although.
We don't need to go there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But this is an easy day.
But it would be my shirt, not a used shirt.
Well, okay, true. So much. Yeah. Um, it's an easy day if you can, especially if you can line a couple of these up, and it's a good way to stay in contact with your customers. And while you're there, listen, if you have any other referrals, anybody else you need to know that has their floors done, whatever, blah blah blah. It's just a good way to stay in touch with your customer, because on the average, when you stand and refinish a floor or install a floor for a homeowner, the average is 7 to 10 years before you ever touch that job again. So there's a lot of money that you built trust with these people. They already trust you. You've already been in their home. And to stay in touch with them is a lot easier than someone else coming in there and doing that or going after new business.
Unbelievable.
Thank you.
What I think it can do for you, as far as, the last show we were talking about referral money, right? Referral money is the sweetest of it all. We sand a floor and we don't see them again till maybe they call us 8 years down the road. Geez, maybe I could need another coat or something.
Yeah.
But now, what about like they do with Stanley Steamer? They give you, hey, here's your card. We'll see you next year. You're already on the schedule for next year. Right? Can you go ahead?
Can I tell you a story about that?
Let's hear it.
I won't mention the name of the company. They're a large cleaning company in America. And they wanted to, they were cleaning the carpets, they were cleaning the drapes, they were cleaning the tile, they were cleaning, the air ducts and what have you. But they weren't cleaning the floors. They realized they were walking past millions of square feet of hardwood flooring, and they wanted to get in this game of cleaning the floors. So they brought in a cleaning machine, and we taught them how to do it. This was another world life you and I were in. And they said, how much should we charge? Now, they didn't have any preconceived notions of what it cost to sand and refinish a floor. They didn't understand that you had to bring in a 200-pound machine, hook up 220 power, go back to the job and recoat and recoat and recoat. So I'm not going to say the number that they sent out there, but it was extraordinary. They said, we're going to charge this. Does that sound right to you? And I thought, you got to be kidding me. And they were getting it. And it was unbelievable how much money they were getting. And it broke my heart. And the reason why it broke my heart is this should be our work, flooring contractors. This should be our work. Because if I were to ask that person, what species of wood are you standing on right now? Is it walnut or is it oak? They would have no clue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they recognized the value in it and they were killing it. As a matter of fact, here's how little they know about floors in our world, and I am not making this up. They said, well, how do people usually charge by this? I said, well, by the square foot. They said, okay, we're not going to measure square footage. Our people don't read tapes. They're not going to take the time to do that. So here's how we're going to do this. We're going to go big, medium, and small. They're going to point at that room and go, that's a small room. That's going to be X amount. That's a medium room. That's going to be X amount. That's a large room. It's X amount. And that's how they, boom, and they off to the next job, bidding the job. Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
And it almost made me sick, to be honest with you, because they could never appreciate what they just got. You know what I mean? A floor person would appreciate, like, damn, I bust my butt with a big machine and I do all this stuff, whatever, and I can make this money cleaning floors, and it's an easier day. And also it could lead to sand and finish work. You know what I mean? You're there. Maybe they want the stairs, the carpet taken out and put hardwood treads in there for stairs. You know what I mean? Maybe the upstairs needs done. So,
yeah. Well, I think I want to take it a step further on where it's going to get you more work. Let's say I do your floors.
Please.
Yeah, I did your floors because you don't sand your own floors. So
Okay.
I did your floors. You installed them. I sanded them.
Let's say that then.
Let's say that happened.
As if, yep.
And I give you a card. Hey, like you get at the doctor's office, an appointment card. I'll see you next year, same day.
Yep.
Okay, I'm coming in. I'm gonna clean your floors. First one I'm gonna give you for free. When I'm done, I'm gonna give you another appointment card. See you next year,
Yep.
October 15th. That's when we're coming. Gonna deep clean your floor, $300 or 500, whatever. Okay. Now let's say I do this for you 4 or 5 times. You're at a party, you're out to dinner, whatever. You're talking to somebody and somebody said, geez, I'm thinking of having my floors done. Really? Call my guy,
Mhm.
right? All of a sudden, you're the guy. Call my guy, Rob.
Yeah.
I got a guy.
Yeah.
My floors look amazing, but you're on a first name basis with that person, right? Now you've seen each other 3, 4, 5 times. Now you got a salesman out there for free.
Okay.
Imagine having 20 or 30 of these in your pocket.
Okay.
Now the referral is forget it. Forget about it. The referral is you'll never advertise again.
Let's say you have say you have 50 customers a year. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say the 50 customers just once a year, you go in there and clean their floors. Okay. Say look at 5 years. Okay. 50 customers over 5 years. You go back to each of those 50 customers over 5 years and clean them floors. Look at the money you can earn doing that versus I've got 50 customers over 5 years each. I do nothing. Put a zero on that side of the equation. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yes.
Versus what I could do on this side of it. So spring cleaning, holidays are coming up. People are coming over to the house. What do you call it? Thanksgiving and Christmas and those type of things. Spring clean, like I said, and I love the idea of bringing in coasters for the furniture. We only did that because it was like, damn, this is a lot of money for the amount of time we're here. Let's make more of a production of it. You know what I mean? Put towels out before you walk in, take off your shoes, all these different things. Just making a production of it, and adding value to it, and leaving with one of the nice floor care kits that we have. Give me a business card again. So yeah, I think it's huge.
It's here's another thing about the power scrubber. I've done last year, I think we did 3 power scrubber schools. There are power scrubber recoat schools showing you how to remove Murphy's oil soap and wax and all the crap that people can go on polishes and everything. And we have a lot of guys who own this equipment and use it for one thing. And here's what I found, even at the Bona convention. Okay. We had the machine out there when we were doing machine maintenance. That was what we did at our little segment, how to maintain these machines. And we brought the power scrubber out and we started talking about it. And guys were having questions on, the squeegee and this and that. And the crazy conversations we were hearing during these seminars that we've done with the power scrubber is I use mine for this. I clean my customers' floors. Another guy said, really, because I've been doing job site cleanups before people move in. And a guy says, geez, and this is what you hear is all this back and forth is like, wow, that's a great idea. I never thought of that. And another guy's like, I just do restaurant, really, because all I was doing was restaurants and stores, commercial, just going in and doing the extraction type cleaning. And then you hear somebody else go, wow, that's a great idea. It was amazing when we were doing these seminars what people were finding out they can do with this machine just from talking to other guys and see what they're doing with the machine. You're not
Well,
just limited.
first thing I would do if I had a machine is talk to the distributor and let them know I have the machine. Because how many calls have you got? Also, like I've got a wire brush floor, and they were doing sheetrock work in the house, and I can't get it out. How can I get this out? You know what I mean? Like you said, you'll find reasons to use the machine. And you go back, like you said, to go back, you put the first two coats on. Now they want to put the third coat on. It's been a month now. There's been other trades on there before you go in there to even abrade the floor. Come in there and clean it off with this. I saw something one time. I think I've talked about this before, but I'll do it quickly. We had two coats of finish on the floor. We were going to put the third coat on. We put the trim on, baseboard and everything, and we were taking a break. We were eating lunch. I was sitting on the floor. The tile guy, the plumber said, "Look, I'll get out of you guys' way. You're just going to get this toilet out of here for you, and we'll get out of your way." He said, "All right." So what's that guy that stepped on the wax ring, and he took 3 steps with that wax ring, leaving a smudge on the floor. We're going to recoat that floor. I said, "Stop in your stop. Don't move. Don't take another step. Take that damn shoe off. You would have just ruined our floor." You know what I mean? So you don't know
Yeah.
what's happened after being away from the floor for a long time. So bring in there and clean the floor first with that before you coat the floors and abrade the floors. I think is also a good idea. So
We do have some guys that are doing that. A guy called me one day and or I was talking to a guy at school, and that was one of the things that he uses it for. On his really big jobs, he said, jobs that are $1 million home type job. Well, $1 million homes isn't that big anymore. I can't believe I said that, but the high end stuff. He said, yeah, for certain jobs, in between coats, that's what we'll clean the floor with. Cause he goes, I just want that finish to be absolutely perfect. This is one of the ways that we do it.
yeah, we also have you can do a checkoff thing where you go in there to the homeowner, you show them where you're checking like I said, checking the furniture for felt guards on them, checking the rugs for making sure they have the proper underlayments under the rugs, checking the maintenance products, checking the walk-off mats, those type of things, check for premature wear, just to get, because it also might lead to a recoat. You know what I mean? So you know what, it looks good, but your kitchen, you guys got a lot of use here out of this kitchen here. Before it gets to be a sanitary finish, why don't we schedule down the road a recoat?
We also have a specific cleaner for that too. The Bona Deep Clean Solution. It's a little bit different than our regular, you know, um, weekly maintenance type cleaner, the Bona wood floor cleaner. It's called the Bona Deep Clean Solution. And that's, like I said, that's going to be for your once a year deep clean, going back, taking care of something, or like you were saying, restaurants, commercial applications, things like that. So there is also a specific cleaner for it. Have you ever done much playing with that machine? The machine itself, the power scrubber?
Playing on it?
Yeah. Have you ever,
Yeah.
from the machine that you and I in our other life that we're not really supposed to talk about, the difference between the two machines to me was just amazing. Where I'm not saying that you should beat on this machine, but this machine really can take a beating. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
where the machines in our old life, she was a little temperamental. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had to spend a lot of time where this machine is just made for a guy to throw in his truck.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm not saying to go crazy beating on the thing, but it's made for guys moving in and out of trucks. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
And here's the thing too, and I always remember my father-in-law. My father-in-law was fairly well. I mean, he wasn't rich, but he was fairly well off in life. He was comfortable. And he got that way because he never spent any money, right? So when I married his daughter, he'd see me buying tools and buying this and spending 3,000 on this and spending 5,000 on a new machine, blah blah blah. But my machines made me money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I never like. There's certain machines that I buy. I know I'm going to make money on them. I know I'm going to get the return on them. And this is one of those machines that It's going to add to the things that you can offer to the clients. And man, it's really, I don't say it's easy money because that just sounds, cheap, but damn, it's a hell of a lot easier than sanding floors or installing floors. It's a hell of a lot easier than coating floors. And you're offering a service to your clients and your customers, and I just think, man, I'm glad we're talking about it because I don't think it gets its due. Uh, with all the other stuff that we have going on sometimes at Bona.
And I think that's the other thing that Wood Floor Pro doesn't look at sometimes is like we want to sand floors, we want to install floors once in a while, and we might want to get into doing a screen and coat recoats, but we never thought of yeah, that's kind of a maintenance type deal. But boy, that's such easy money. And like you said, we're afraid to use that machine because we don't want to charge enough money.
Okay.
Where I remember when we first started talking about this at schools, and I think we were talking about like 30 cents a foot to do this. And I remember a guy who was doing it in one of the classes. He looked at me, he started laughing. He goes, 30 cents. And this was years ago. He goes, we're at a dollar. And that's when I stopped with the 30 cents. I'm like, all right, you're at a buck.
Yeah.
Then that's where we're going to start.
Okay. So, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I don't mean any offense by it. But when I told you about the big company that we taught to clean, so then we decided, all right, well let's go after the independent carpet cleaning companies that would, they have their vans, they clean carpets and they clean, drapes and that kind of stuff. And I thought, I don't know, man. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I kind of looked down my nose like, yeah, we're craftsmen, we're floor guys. You know what I mean? These guys,
We're
that's not
not
really,
service guys.
yeah,
We're craftsmen. We're not
that's
a service guy.
it's kind of a little bit beneath us and that type of thing.
Yes.
But here's what I learned because we had a distributor out in Northern California that had them for doing classes. They would all show up because they wanted a certificate, IIRC or something like that. I can't remember. It was years ago. But anyhow, so they would show up to the class. What I realized about these guys is these guys were good businessmen. I was blown away by it. I was really kind of shocked. I mean, they were they were looking at the numbers, man. They were looking at the machines. They were figuring everything out. Their heads were spinning, and they go, "Yeah, man, they got it." And I thought, "Son of a gun, man!" I came away with a whole new respect for those guys.
Different mindset,
Different mindset. They got it right away because they're used to cleaning. And we're craftsmen. We build floors, we sand floors, we do these things. And for us, this kind of looks like it's cleaning a floor. It's not really a craft, but damn, it's pretty easy money. You know what I mean? So
I think that's what I think that's been the biggest thing against it is this is it a stigma? Stigma?
Yeah, no, you said it right.
Did I?
Good for you.
Hey,
Stigma.
Stigma.
Yeah.
Belt for me.
Yes.
Another one.
Mm-hmm. All right, Rob.
The other thing about this machine is the simplicity of it. I mean, it is just such a simple machine to run, a simple machine to maintain. The only thing you need is two sets of brushes, a white set and a red set.
Yeah.
And to make it easy, if you're going to put finish on the floor, you use the red brush. If you're not putting finish on the floor, use a white brush. The white brush won't degloss the floor. It's soft enough. It's almost like a Tampico brush where it's not going to do anything to the floor. So that's what you're going to do your deep cleaning with. Now, if you're into the guaranteed recoat system, things like that, yeah, now we can get nasty with this thing. Do some really good cleaning, put that red brush on when you're going to put a coat on it. And that's really all you need is the two sets of brushes. Other than that, it's
well, when you say the simplicity of it too, also you don't have to send your journeyman stud out to a job to do this. I mean, really, you send out your apprentice out to the job to run the machine. You're not your high dollar guy.
yeah.
So yep.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And when you said this is kind of our business, we had a couple come to a school years ago, and I'll never forget. She said to me, "When are you going to talk about the power scrubber?" and this was the beginning. This is at lunch of day 1. And I said, end of day 4 is when we get into the power scrubber. And she goes, that's really the only reason I'm here. And I said, well, if you want, you can come back, And she goes, no, I'm here. I'll go through the whole thing. They ended up having an amazing business just cleaning wood floors around Long Island. But where you said this is kind of our business, the only thing that they have issues with, and it's not an issue, but I did hook them up with a couple of BCCs in that area because they had floors that were beyond their repair capabilities.
Yeah.
So when you say it's our business, yeah, I truly believe it's our business because once you get in there and you're like, hey, you know what? This is why this floor is black. It's because there's no finish on it, not because it's dirty type of thing.
Yeah, exactly right.
Where people in the carpet business, they don't really know. And they're not going to know how to do the repair.
Well, we had a guy one time that actually had his vehicle wrapped, and it was just advertising nothing but floor cleaning. And he was so successful at it, we said, hey, can we highlight you in our next newsletter? And he goes, no, I don't want anybody to know what I'm doing. He goes, yeah, don't put me out there. He goes, I want to keep them flying under the radar because I'm killing it and I don't want anybody else to do it. So, all right, Rob, I just think that it was good to talk about it. We don't often spend time specifically on one product on the podcast. I guess we do once in a while, but not often. But I think it's a good idea to talk about it because it is an opportunity. And we've done our own surveys to see what people would pay for that and how many people would actually have it done, and it's actually pretty impressive. So yep, it's out there. If you don't have one, and actually you could if you own a retail store, man, I think it's a must. When I was selling these, I used to go to retail stores and I would just run a machine on a diagonal across the floor, up once and then back. And they'd look at it and go, oh my God, you think this floor was clean, but you don't realize how dirty it's gotten, all these people walking on it after all these years. So great for them as well. If you want a demo for the machine, call your territory manager, get a hold of me and Rob, and we'll make sure you get hooked up with somebody to check it out. So,
and another selling point that it's deep cleaning and all this being part of the guaranteed recoat system. It's all the cleaner, of course, Green Guard certified. Always something to talk about during that.
There you go. Well, you got the kids crawling around the floors and the dogs and stuff like that. You don't want to put nasty chemicals on the floor. So we know it's compatible with all the finishes. So good stuff.
Did you stay up the other night and watch the fight?
Oh man, did I? Yes, I did. I'll tell you what, the fight before that was absolutely one of the best fights I've ever seen. Those two ladies, I mean,
that fight was brutal.
Brutal.
Absolutely brutal. And never in my life have I started yelling at the TV like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
That woman was ripped off.
Well,
he did not win that fight. And I know you're an Irish guy.
I'm Irish.
I know you're
Irish.
rooting for the I know you're rooting for the Irish girl. The funny part about that, I thought too, was I couldn't understand one word she was saying. She was speaking English.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand
one
word.
I love that kid, man. Here, okay, so let me give my honest opinion on it. Was the other boxer robbed? Yes, I think she was. I think she should have won. However, I don't think the Irish boxer was fighting dirty and all that stuff. I think she's just an unorthodox fighter, and it was a close contact. She's in with the head all the time. I don't think she intentionally tried to do anything dirty. But
I completely agree. I do not think she was headbutting on purpose. I think that's just her style.
Yeah, but man, kudos to both those because something, they saved the event because if they just had Tyson and that Jake Paul fighting, it would have been the biggest bust of all time because that fight was laughable. That
Oh,
was
that was disgusting.
what that fight does for old guys like us. See that every guy 50 and older was rooting for Tyson, I promise you. Because we're like, yeah, we still got something in the tank if we have to have it. You know what I mean? Like we could still. So he was our man. He was representing all of us. Man, he was terrible. He got his butt kicked, and the other guy didn't. He pulled his punches. He didn't want to hurt him. You could tell.
Yeah, but I thought Tyson pulled a lot of punches too.
No.
I'm going to send you some videos of people. People have been making some videos, and there's a couple of times where Tyson just kind of rolled his shoulder over, where that would have been a knockout. I'll send you a couple of videos that people have been putting together, and I mean, because the whole time I'm watching the fight, I'm like, hit him, Mike. What I'm waiting for the explosion.
Yeah. Well, he was out of shape.
He did not look like the same guy that they showed 2 weeks ago in training.
True.
That was training for that fight.
Nobody needs to see a 58-year-old man's butt like that on TV. That was cold. I mean, I'm sure Netflix was like, yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen.
What was up with that?
That was kind of very odd.
But I felt bad. Another reason I felt bad for the two girls the fight before that. When those girls were done fighting, have you ever seen anybody look more beat up? Blood, sweat, tears, all of their, they had their hair up and whatever, and their hair's all down and everything. So here are two women that just beat the living, what out of each other, right?
Yeah.
And they look it, and then who's standing right behind them? The ring girls, right?
Oh,
the bikini ring girls. I'm like, come on. Let me and Wayne be ring men for them. So they won't look that bad, right? But to have those ring girls in the bikinis standing behind those two beat up, I was like, don't do this to them, Mike. Gosh. But that fight
they're actually
was terrifying.
The boxers are actually very attractive women. I mean, but they got the hell beat out of them. And I don't know what they got paid. I hope they got paid well because they were warriors, man. That's one of the best fights I've ever seen. So amazing.
That was an unbelievable fight.
Yeah, and the first fight wasn't very good either. The second fight was pretty decent, but those women saved the whole event.
Yeah. I remember what has happened to boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're showing our age here all the time, but the heavyweight division when we were younger, think of all the guys in that heavyweight division.
Well, the best,
and then you think about the middleweight division: Hagler, Hearns,
Roberto
Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard.
Then later on,
that middleweight division was as exciting as the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
And it could have been. I guess it was UFC that has taken it over, but man, I just remember when boxing, like, it was an event, right? I mean, we were going to pay-per-views, we were going to auditoriums to watch it.
Yeah. No, it's gone downhill so badly. It's terrible.
And I thought that was going to be the fight. Hey, maybe this will bring boxing back. I don't.
It didn't show very well. Yeah, what's the other stuff? MMA is totally taking over now. Yeah.
UFC. Is there a difference in MMA and UFC?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Do you watch much of that?
No, obviously not. I don't know what the difference between two of them. But if a cage match is on or whatever, and I'm just flipping channels, I might stop and watch it. But on the other hand, man, some of those guys are brutal. What I worry about is how many of these guys are out at the bar at night. You know what I mean? You don't want to run into one of those guys. You used to be able to just slap you around a little bit and you're done. Now everybody you got to tap out. Everybody wants to knock you out. I don't need that in my life.
Still going to bars and getting fights, huh?
no, God, no, I don't
You
want
better
that.
watch it. You walking around that used shirt, somebody's gonna watch. That's my shirt.
Someone's gonna want. Somebody might do that. Hey, that looks like that was my
Somebody,
shirt.
that's my shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, Rob. Well, listen, that's been a pleasure as always. We're
Hey, I
getting
want to make one more announcement before we cut out.
okay.
Just a heads up, everybody. We got actually I think there's 3 Christmas schools this year. Go online. You can see where the Christmas schools are going to be. The 10th through the 12th, we're doing one in New Jersey and one in Denver. And then the following week, the one in Jersey, we're gonna have Dittmer there, and he's gonna be doing all sorts of install stuff. And then the next week, 18th and 19th, 18, 19, and 20,
You're in Nashville, right?
Nashville, and guess, go on, Wayne, tell him. Give him the news.
Well,
Who's gonna be there?
I'm gonna be there on the 19th.
Wayne's coming, baby.
Yes, sir.
Wayne's gonna be there. And
And I
these
get
Christmas schools are all they're just such a great time. I know I've talked about them before on the show. The Nashville and the New Jersey school. The only thing we're charging is bring a nice big toy for the Toys for Tots. We got a couple of boxes that we want to get filled up. And I think in the Denver school, pretty sure Denver school, they're going to do something for I think it's the Denver Food Bank. So, no charge for the schools, just bring a little Christmas cheer. And these schools are a great time just to see everybody, get everybody together and, have some fun. And we call them schools are more like an open house. We're just going to have all sorts of machines and, we're going to be doing a lot of chroma if you haven't seen the chroma yet and the roll guard, things like that. So a lot of good stuff happening.
and the one in Denver. We're not gonna be making sandwiches for them hippies, are we? That able-bodied.
I have no idea.
Okay. All right. Want that to go
They
for a good
making
cause.
sandwiches for hippies.
Yeah. Guys, it could actually work.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. All right. This has been another.
HR. Here comes Wayne. HR.
Yep. All right. This has been another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. Please stay tuned for another episode.